Hi, how are you? I'm Alexa.
And I'm Andrea.
Welcome to As You Are. Today is episode 12.
Final episode
Final
of the
episode
year.
of the year of 2024. So we've done 12 episodes plus one bonus plus a vlog.
Plus a vlog.
So total 14
Yeah.
films, like full films that we've uploaded.
And
And
that's 3 months and a half of filming.
yes. And we've said this before on episode 10, but thank you so much to everyone who's been listening in from the first episode. We are beyond grateful.
Yeah, it's crazy to have like listeners. Because in the very beginning, I always thought that it would be like 20 people listening to us. And seeing the amount of people that are listening, it's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't understand.
I think you still don't
I still don't understand.
Whenever I tell you like, oh, the amount of views or comments that we have, you're like, oh, wow. And I'm like, no, you're not, you don't get it. I'm like,
you don't get it.
I'm like so excited. I'm like crazy about it. And you're like, yeah, it's super chill.
I think that's like, I've heard, like, you know, the saying, well, there's not really a saying, but I've heard people say before to not ride your highs and to not ride your lows.
Right.
And I feel that's how I live my life in general.
Okay.
It's like a something I stand by, like, or something I live by. Yeah, it's like a lifestyle. I try and maintain my cool like at all times.
Literally. I'm getting too excited. I'm like, be excited with me.
Excited, please. But no, it's been exciting.
Yeah.
It's been exciting. For sure. And I don't think either of us could have even understood like the impact of what we were doing, or if we were even going to get this far.
Yeah, or even like that people could relate to what we're saying so much.
Some people that have commented that they feel like so calming listening to us, and that, for example, for the journaling episode, someone commented that it helped them so much,
and they were
and that means a lot.
Was it that episode, or was it about meditation? That
which one?
There was a comment about this person. She was struggling with meditation or journaling.
I think it was a journaling.
The journaling one.
Yeah.
That she was struggling with that, and the video came across on her For You page randomly, and she watched it, and she was like, "Thank you so much for this episode." And it was
like, that means.
And it's so funny because we
so
send
much to us.
Screenshots to each other, like, "Hey, did you see this comment?" And then our like crying faces, like happy tears, happy tears emoji.
I feel like we should do a compilation of our, because we also have a screen recording of when we uploaded our first post.
Yes, true.
So I want to do a compilation of like everything.
And do you remember how excited I was for getting like 2 views?
Yes.
I was like, who are these people
like
coming
refreshing,
from?
refreshing.
I couldn't focus for like the next hour.
I couldn't focus. The first day the first couple of days we posted, I was kind of like frozen. Yeah. Like all I could think about was the people viewing our stuff. Refreshing. Yeah. So today we're basically going to talk about wrapping up the year, how it's been for us, our experience with the podcast so far, and things to look forward to in the new year, 2025. We have a whole schedule for how we want it to go next year, and we're excited to talk to you about it. And we also want to share little tips for anyone planning to start something new in 2025, whether it be a new business, whether it be starting a podcast, whether it be just starting something new. We've learned a lot through this experience, so I want to share that in case it can help anyone as well. Yes. If this is the first episode you're listening to, we encourage you to go to episode 1, where we talk about how and why we started this whole podcast in the first place. But it's been such a fun journey and experience, especially doing this with you. And I mentioned this also in the first episode. My heart. I'm gonna cry. It's like I don't even know how to process it.
To the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like everything happened pretty quickly for us once we decided that we wanted to do it. Yeah,
once we started talking about it, I don't think we ever stopped, honestly.
Yeah, we never stopped.
We talked about doing the podcast, and then immediately we started doing research and starting getting all the stuff. Then meeting every week, assembling the draperies, opening the chairs, the lighting, then doing research on the mics, then learning how to use the mics, then the camera, and then we started filming, and then you started editing, then posting, then description, the reels, the Spotify. It's been like nonstop, honestly, week
And
to
it's
week.
been a lot of discovering as we're doing it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Discovering as we go.
Literally as we go.
Live.
Like, still we have so many things that we feel like we need to like get down. For example, next year we want to be able to invite guests on the podcast. So it's like, okay, you're thinking, okay, you're just gonna invite a guest, but no, we have to figure out how is this setup gonna work.
Yeah.
Are we even gonna do it here? We need 3 mics
We
instead
need
of
3
2
mics, a different, or like a bigger space, not bigger space, but bigger angle.
Yeah.
For the camera.
Yeah.
How are we gonna structure it? Where are we sitting?
Where
are
we
they
sitting?
sitting?
Yes.
It's a lot of coordination that we need to think beforehand.
Yeah, but all exciting things to look into. I feel like what has made it so easy for us to just go and not stop is because I think all the parts of it are very natural for us. For example, setting up, like, because we're interior designers, setting up the podcast was very natural for us. Whereas for a lot of people, if they don't necessarily know how to maybe put pieces of furniture together, then that might be a hard part of crossing that bridge to even start the podcast, you know?
Right. It's like starting something new. It can be so stressful because you don't know how to do certain stuff, and that might stop you from actually doing it. So in the beginning, I think it was even exciting for us to put this together.
Yeah, we were more excited about putting the set together than talking.
Like, too excited.
Too excited even about putting it together. But it was fun. And I think, honestly, I was scared. And I've never told you this before, but I was scared that we would only be excited about putting it together.
Really?
But not
executing it
all the way through, because we're interior designers and we've never done this before. Like, we're not... Well, and that's also health professionals. We're not energy experts, but it's the topics that we've been talking about. So that's another thing, is all these things come natural to us.
Yeah. And that's something that we talked about in the beginning. It's like, okay, but we're spending all of this money in equipment, like mics, camera. What if we don't like it?
Yes.
And we were like, okay, we won't know that we don't like it until we try it. So if we don't like it at all,
we'll sell it.
We'll sell it. It's okay. I mean, we'll lose money, but it's okay. We'll at least try it instead of just like thinking about it and never doing it. So I think that was our mentality coming in. It's just, let's try it. Let's not force ourselves to do it just because we already have the equipment. It's just like, let's see how we feel. And then if we don't like it, we don't like it. And that's okay.
Yeah. And that's something that I think did a really good job on, is not putting too much pressure on ourselves for it to be too perfect, because we've mentioned in a bunch of episodes that we're both perfectionists. And being able to, for example, someone that I was talking to about the podcast at a party the other day, and he was telling me that someone he knew wanted to start a podcast, but they had filmed the first episode and it had been like 3 weeks and they were still editing it.
Wow.
But for us, it's like we edited, like 2 days later it was up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we've been, I would say, pretty quick about it and just rolling with the momentum and not letting it be like.
And I think we hold ourselves accountable in a way. It's like, okay, we are doing this on, like, we're posting Wednesday mornings. We need to meet. Like, we've
been very consistent.
And
we've posted every Wednesday since we started. Yeah.
And reels. 2 reels every day.
Yes. Well, not every day. Well, we've missed a couple. But almost every day.
Yeah. We've been, like, pushing ourselves in a way that being like, okay, we said Wednesday, we're gonna make it work. We have to work around our schedules. Like with traveling, we usually meet a certain day of the week, and then if our schedule is gonna change, and we know that, we just plan ahead and be like, okay, let's meet this day. So it's like kind of a lot of coordination beforehand, but still we make it work. So it's like we're very committed to this.
We're very committed.
Yeah.
And about what you said of doing this together and keeping each other accountable, like, I wouldn't have been doing any of this if it wasn't doing it with you. And I feel probably it's the same for you. So if ever there's anyone that's feeling shy about something, in my experience, it's been so beneficial working with other people and whatever I take on, because I've noticed that whenever I do it just by myself, it's very easy to overthink and it's very easy to stay in your head and not really put anything out. Yes. But when you have someone there with you, it's like, yeah, well, if you think it's good, then it must be good. So let's do it. Like, let's move forward.
We give each other, like, what's the word? It's not approval, but it's like confirmation that it's the right path.
Yes.
And sometimes I ask you things and you're like, no, let's do this. And then it's like, oh, right, let's do it that way, and vice versa. So I think it's nice to work with someone so we have like both ways of thinking, and then we compare and then we align so much as well.
Yes.
So it's like, if we both align and we think the same way, we must be going in the right way.
And there's bound to be other people like us that will relate to our thinking. It's like, we can't be the only two people that think this way.
Exactly.
Even more on the topic of not being too perfect about it, our first episode, the quality was like of the video, the fact that I was able to upload that, Andrea,
I mean, it wasn't that bad.
Okay, it wasn't that bad, but it was kind of bad. Like, when you compare the two qualities, the video quality is so much better now.
It's so much better now, yeah, for sure.
But at the time, it wasn't even a consideration. I was like, okay, it could be better, but we're posting it. I didn't even think about not posting it, you know?
Oh, but I don't know if you remember when we were at the park and I told you, like, okay, but we might film the first episode and we might not post it. And you're like, no, that's the whole point. We need to post it. I'm like, but it's probably gonna suck. And you're like, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, are you sure? And you're like, yeah, but what? Because if we do that, because in my mind, I thought we were going to film like 2-3 episodes, delete them, and then the fourth one would be the first one that we would post.
Right.
And you're like, no, let's not do that. And I'm glad we didn't, because
that's so true. It's been the plan from the beginning to post even if the quality wasn't up to where we knew we wanted to be.
Yes. But even the first one, I think it was great. Like, it turned out great.
I loved it. Yeah. I loved the first episode.
Is that your favorite one? That's my favorite one, just because it was like so natural. Yeah. It was the first time ever talking to a mic, doing like any sort of like podcast-ish situation. So it went pretty good, in my opinion.
It went very well. It went very well. Yes. It went very well. I'm just being critical about the video quality.
It was
but
fun.
Other than that, I loved what we talked about.
Me too. I thought it was so fun.
It was fun, natural, and so easy, like we wanted it to be. We've always been pushing for it to be easy and not stressful. And I think we achieved it.
Yeah, me too.
And another thing that we wanted to achieve, at least for me, in my mind, I had, like, when people would ask me, but why are you starting a podcast in the first place? I would say, well, I've been learning so much. And even if one thing that I say can inspire someone else, then I've done my job. Like, I just want to inspire one person. And we've inspired many people.
Many people. There's so many times that I'm like watching videos, and even like a sentence that they say, it's stuck in my head. It could be something as simple as a routine, or like the way they eat or they drink. It could be a very, very small thing, but sometimes it gets stuck in my head, and it has been so helpful. So we talk for hours. I'm sure people are gonna relate to something. And
yes, and you never know. It's like, we will never know.
No,
we'll never know the impact that we can have on people. Even if we read the comments and we feel it, it's like, wow. But we don't know. And
we don't know, like, what it's going through their mind as they're watching us. Or as they're listening to us.
And like you said, what will stick? Like, we don't know.
No, we don't know. We have no idea.
But for example, Raquel was telling me the other day that she recently started drinking lemon water and honey. And when she saw the reel that we posted about drinking it with a straw, she was like, oh my God, I have to drink it with a straw. Exactly. So it's something like something as simple as that.
Exactly. Yeah, it impacts a lot more people than we realize.
Yeah. What are you the most grateful for? On the podcast, like, what is the one thing that you would say you're the most grateful for?
Well, what we've been talking, when I read the question, I was like, just doing it with you, because I feel
that was also my first thought.
Yeah, because I feel our chemistry is so good in general, and also besides friends, work wise, it's going so well. We push each other, we understand each other, we're so flexible, and but yet we push each other and we motivate each other. So I think that's like the best thing of working with you. It's like whenever I doubt something, you just make me not doubt it, and vice versa. So I think it's just great working with you overall. I love it.
Me too. That's definitely the thing that I'm the most grateful for. And whenever I was thinking of asking you to do a podcast with me, I was like, I mean, I've always known from the first time we met that I liked you. And I was like, and at that time we were doing the yoga stuff together and all of that. And we always got along so well. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I would want to be with her every weekend anyway. So we might as well like film it. So yeah, I've also, that's the number one thing that I'm grateful for is what we have, because it's so unique. Like when you think about even the fact that we live so close to each other and we're able to do this, not many people have that opportunity.
Yeah, I agree.
To have a friend that, like, if you didn't have a second bedroom, maybe it wouldn't have happened.
True.
You know, the way it's like there's so many things that had to happen in a certain way for this to work.
Yeah. Totally.
And it's been just like we were saying, so natural and free flowing from the very beginning.
And also, well, I don't know if that happens to you, but for example, my friends, I haven't had any new friends that I'm super close with. And if you think about it, we met 2 years ago.
That's true. Yeah.
And we've become so close in 2 years. That is crazy.
It is crazy. Because like, I've also never had, I don't have anyone outside of the people that I grew up with, like since I was a kid, that I'm as close to.
Exactly. Yeah, that you met after being an adult, basically.
Yeah, after being an adult. Yeah.
And that's hard. To meet people as an adult and then become close, super close to.
Yes.
And we became super close, super fast.
Yeah.
Too.
I feel like I tell you everything. Literally any little thing, I'll just like tell you.
I know, same.
And I would say, aside from that being the number one thing I'm grateful for, obviously the people listening to us.
Oh, yeah.
That's like super grateful for that. And I want to give a special shout out to Alexa, my friend, who I've talked about on this podcast before. She's been listening to every single episode and giving us feedback every single episode. And we just feel your love.
Yes.
And we just wanted to say thank you. And beyond Alexa, anyone who has been there and watching from the first episode, we don't understand yet how we're able to impact you, but we're so grateful that you're listening and that you're here.
Yeah, we're so grateful that you're giving us time of your day to listen to us and listen to what we're saying and giving us the opportunity to of choosing us other podcasts of that.
That's so true. There's so many podcasts that you could decide to listen to.
Yeah.
And to choose to listen to us, it means a lot.
Yeah, it truly does. So thank you so much. Yeah.
What is your biggest lesson learned?
I would say to trust myself. And because as we were talking about, like, not second guessing, just trust the work that you put out, and people are gonna relate. People that are supposed to be there are gonna be there, and trust in the work that you put out, honestly, because the very first episode that we put out was our favorite one, and that a lot of people commented and being like, oh, I love your chemistry, I love how it turned out to be your first one. So it's just like trust in the work that you do, especially if it's done with love and intention. It's just trust in it, and it'll eventually just get better and better. And don't put a lot of pressure, don't be black and white, which I tend to do a lot. If it's not perfect, I don't want to do it. So it's just trust in the work that you put out and trust in yourself.
Yeah, I love that. I agree with everything you said. Yeah. I think it's been the same for me too. I would say the biggest lesson learned for me is to just start and not let something just be an idea in your head. Because no matter how much you think about it and no matter how much it's like it's easy to have expectations of how something is going to go. So just starting and, like you said, trusting the process, trusting yourself to go full force with it. It's just starting. I feel like anyone that has an idea in their mind of something that they want to do, if they feel passionate about it and if the intention is right, like you said, I really believe that everything will flow if it's natural for you. And so, yeah, just start. Because I have been thinking, I think I spent a full year knowing that I wasn't exactly where I needed to be, and just thinking about ways to change, thinking about thinking and finally doing feels good.
Yeah. And also when you think about what you want to do, let's say a podcast, you're thinking a lot about it, but there's no way that you'll ever know the turn out of the podcast. Like, we could have thought about this for years or months or whatever.
We could have planned
the whole thing, being super through it with the whole setting up a podcast and all of that it's related to that. But then we would never know how it will turn out if we don't ever do it. So you might have an idea in your head, but then when you do it, it might be completely different. So it's just
because, for example, the podcast, we said it in the first episode that we just thought it was going to be very easy to start a podcast. We thought, we'll just film it, we'll just have mics, and we'll upload it on YouTube. But there's so much more involved than what I anticipated. There's so much work
we both
on the back end.
We had no idea.
We had no idea
that's involved in, like, around a podcast. Or having like a social media presence overall.
When I say just start, it means that too. Just start, because you cannot plan for the unknown. You cannot plan for stuff that you don't know. It's like, until you experience it, you just have to trust. It's kind of a game of patience too, because we could have posted a couple and then just given up because it wasn't what like, maybe we wanted more, we wanted different, or
I think that could be like another lesson, that it's just keep going, and then if it's something that you really like, just keep going, and then you'll right now we live in a world where everything is so instant. Everything is so instant. So for me, it's been hard to be patient with results. It's like when you see all these people achieve so many things and you think that, oh yeah, I'm going to achieve it like tomorrow. But it's like, it takes patience. Yeah, for sure. And especially in the whole podcast world, for example, like, there's a lot of new people coming up with new podcasts, and there's a lot of competition in a way. So we're going to attract people that are just going to relate to what we're going to say. We cannot force people to listen to us, and we don't want that either. It's just like, we want people to listen to us because they want to. They want to.
That's a good point, because we looked at other podcasts for inspiration, but we never necessarily saw them, like other podcasts or other people, as a competition. And we were always focused on what we wanted for ourselves and the message that we wanted to share. So I think that has been very beneficial for us too, is just sticking to our truth and sticking to our message. And it doesn't matter if there's 1,000 podcasts out there, or 1 million podcasts, or a billion podcasts, as long as we're being authentic and truthful, even if it's 100 people listening to us, I feel like we're doing our job.
Yeah, and that those 100 people, it's just, they relate to what we're saying, and they're truly into what we're talking about. One time I watched a video about this guy talking about hobbies, something as simple as hobbies, and the only way that you can find a hobby is if you try things out. And I think the same thing goes with your dream job, your dream career, your anything in life. You won't know until you try it. And I think it can also relate to any new business idea that you want to pursue, any new job that you think you might like. You'll never know if you want to pursue that in the long run, or if you want to do that until you try it. So I think it's just what you said about just start it, it relates to try it as well. It's just, it doesn't need to be a lot of pressure and being like, if I try it and I need to go all in now and it's gonna be the thing that I'm gonna do the rest of my life. I think that's the mentality that we went into doing this. It's like we started the podcast, but we had no idea if we were going to actually like it.
And it's like we're open to, if it develops into something else,
exactly,
then it develops into something else. It's like we're not hell bent on it being a specific way.
Yeah, that's true. We also talked about doing so many other things, not podcast related. Be like, oh, we can film about this and we can film about that, and we had like so many ideas, and be like, yeah, we can migrate to other stuff as well. So it's just, I think, coming in with that mentality instead of black and white, and being like, whatever it flows to or it goes to, it's fine as well. I think it frees and it takes out so much pressure.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because until you try something out, you never know if you really like it. Your mind and your dreams might tell you, oh my God, and you might fantasize about a certain situation and think this would be the best thing for me ever. But every situation always has its challenges. As we're experiencing with the podcast, it has its challenges, and because it's flowing for us right now, we want to figure out the challenges and work through them. So until we started, we would have never known about these challenges. So I would have
no idea of what all of this involves. So
yeah, I agree. And especially us both having an interior design background and knowing nothing about any of this at all. Yeah, it's just to be curious, like you said. And if there's something in your mind that keeps repeating, oh, I feel like I want to do this, I feel like I want to do this, just try it.
Just try it. And it's nothing wrong and be like, oh, I tried it and I didn't like it at all, or it's like, not for me, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine too. That's fine too. Were there any surprises as to like people's reactions, maybe people in your life, or maybe common questions that people have asked you about the podcast?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is friends saying like, oh, I actually like it's really good.
Like it actually
like,
looks
it's
good.
actually good. It's like, what were you thinking? It wasn't gonna be good? And you're like, no, but I mean, they were thinking, and so was I, that in the beginning there's a lot of learning new things, so it's gonna be, the first few episodes might not be like good. I mean, like the flow or like the conversation, the structure, and they were like, no, it's actually pretty good. Like I had fun listening to you. I either learned, or it was like the setup, or even the sound. Like the sound is really good. Like, and it's not that I was asking because I didn't want to ask, because I know their answer would be like forced in a way, like, oh no, yeah, I really like it. No,
it's like they came to you.
They came to you and to me, and being like saying whatever they thought about it. I also had like some constructive criticism, but it was like about the sound, about whatever, but it was also well received. But in general, that was my first thought, that it was like, oh, people are actually into it, and that it's good. Like they like it.
For me, I was surprised how many people that are not necessarily directly my intimate friends, but that I know and that I see from time to time, and the type of conversations that it opens up with these people. I've had a lot of new interactions because of the podcast.
All right.
And I feel people approach me differently now because it's like I'm exposing exactly who I am. And so I think since people know that now, the people that are similar to me are drawn to that, and they want to share something maybe from their experience, because maybe they listen to us sharing about our experiences so often, then they want to share something that they've been through. And that has happened to me with a lot of people. So that's something that I did not expect, is people that I know open up to me and talk about deep, like it, for me, the podcast has opened my relationships with people to be more deep and intentional.
Yeah, totally. And we have also received some DMs, like people we don't know DM us and being like, oh, this happened to me, or this has been my experience, like open up to us too, which is, I think it's crazy. Like, and so grateful for that they feel that they can do that with us.
Yes, that they feel safe enough to share their story.
Safe. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, we've received paragraphs from people,
yes.
which, of course, we send it to each other. Like, do you see this? And it's like, it's excitement that they feel safe enough to sending and taking the time to write that down, send it to us. It's a lot of,
yes.
It's like heartwarming in a way.
Yes, very.
It's crazy to receive those things, and we're so grateful for those.
Yes, I agree. And I've learned so much from starting this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
With you. It's like I've learned a ton from you. And I've learned a ton from wanting to share with other people. So I will do more research about it. We'll be more careful with certain ways that we want to express something. So it's made me a lot more clear as well with what my beliefs are. And yeah, it's just made me more clear and knowledgeable.
Yeah. And also what you were saying, like the way that we express ourselves, we need to be more thoughtful about the words that
that we choose.
And how we communicate things. And I feel I've gotten better doing that as well, because you don't know how people can take whatever you say. And so now that we're getting more and more listeners, we need to be careful of what we say.
Yeah, there's like a sense of responsibility to it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And I already know that in the future we're probably going to listen back to some stuff and be like, well, that's not exactly it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For sure. But I think that's the beauty of it, is that we're exposing where we are right now.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to my future self looking back at it and seeing like where I was.
Yes, totally.
Where we were.
Totally.
A common question that people have asked me is, are you not afraid to run out of topics?
Actually, my friends have asked me that too.
And my answer is like, no.
Really?
Like, yeah. Are you afraid to run out of topics?
Not afraid, but it's like, if you think about it, if we are posting every week, it's around 50 topics, 52. But let's say if we do the breaks, it's going to be, let's say 50 topics a year. 50.
Yes. 50. It is a lot, but I feel like we're constantly learning all the time.
Yeah, totally.
And we have to constantly stop ourselves from talking.
Oh, yeah, that's one thing. It's like, we always say, I need to be gone by 4:30, and it's like 4:15, and we are halfway through the podcast, the episode. So we need to stop ourselves. But I think we've gotten better at it though, because I think the first episode, for how long did we film?
Yeah, the first episode,
we filmed for a long time.
I want to say that we filmed for like
2 hours,
2.5 hours.
Yeah, so we talked a lot in general. Even like with the mics on or off, we just talk a lot.
It's like, even we have to stop ourselves from talking before recording so that we can record, and we have to stop ourselves while we're recording.
No, literally, when you just walked in today, we started talking about this other topic, and then we were like, no, we need to start filming. Let's go to the room. Let's just cut it off right now, because we talked so much.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess
I'm not worried about us. I think we'll find 50 things to talk about next year.
Yeah, totally.
So things to look forward to next year.
Yes.
We mentioned having guests.
Yes.
And we wanted to talk about the new structure. Well, not new structure, but the structure that we want to have. Yeah. Because we started the podcast not having a structure. We're like, okay, we'll just post. The one structure that we had is, actually, we have a structure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we kind of do.
We do, because we post every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. each episode. Mm-hmm. And then we post 2 reels a day, Monday through Friday.
Yes.
Saturday, we do a poll.
Yes.
And then Sunday, we record.
Oh, yes. Yeah. In the beginning, it was like either like a quote or something related on Saturdays.
Right. I noticed that we haven't put a quote in a long time.
No, we should.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do the polls on Saturdays, and then Sundays we film. Then the week starts and we repeat. So we have a structure. We have a weekly structure. Now, in terms of the year, we decided that we want to structure the episode in seasons. Mm-hmm. So we will be taking a break in January,
and starting back up with the full episodes in February.
Yes.
We still want to find a way to post a little bit of content and still keep the engagement with our followers in January.
Yeah.
But I personally really need a break. I don't know how you feel,
Yeah.
but I think that I'm going to feel good January, like taking that time off and then starting back up February.
Yeah, no, I feel the same. Just because of what we were talking about. It's like since we started, we've been go,
Mm-hmm.
and this is still very new to us. So it's something, regardless, it creates some sort of, I wouldn't use the word resistance, but it's just like it's not comfortable to your body, like doing something new.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, since we've been doing it week after week, it has gotten like we've gotten used to it and it's more natural, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and I think it's important to give ourselves rest.
Yes.
Being a health and wellness podcast, I think it's important.
Yeah.
And anything in life, you can't be 100% all the time. Like we need rest.
Yeah. And we also want to do some things that we haven't had time to do on that break.
Like refine.
Yeah. Like little details. Like you might see new like the profile pic or like a banner.
Because we've been ever since the first episode, we were saying, okay, we're gonna do a banner, we're gonna do a photo shoot, we're gonna do like an intro song. Yes. So it's all these little details that we just have not been able to get to.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I think the photo shoot will be a nice one.
Yes.
And
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and also setting up the podcast to receive a guest.
Yes.
That's something that we'll be planning in January.
Yeah.
And
also something that you mentioned that we want to keep posting regardless. So I think we're going to show a little bit more of our side, like our routines.
Yeah, like our personal life.
Yeah, more a little bit more about our personal life. So I think that's going to be fun to show.
So essentially we want to have our seasons be exactly as this first season, 12 episodes, 1 vlog. So that's the structure that we really want to maintain, and that lasts for a period of 3 months. So it'll be 1 month off, 3 months recording, 1 month off, 3 months recording, and it just happens to fall perfectly within the year, and we did not plan it that way. But it just, for now, it works perfect for us. So until we find something better, I feel like for now this is what we're sticking to.
Yeah, it's crazy that it falls perfectly on the timing that we just went through. It's like the 12 weeks and now January off and then February started back up again.
Yes.
So I think it's meant to be that way for now, at least.
I think it's meant to be, for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll close the year's episode by giving you some words of encouragement, because for both of us, we just really, we hope that we've been expressing, like through exposing our process, our hope was to inspire people to feel like they could, if they really put their mind to something, also achieve whatever their heart desires the most. So we are not people that were very big on social media to begin with.
Yes.
We're both perfectionists. I want to say we're outgoing, but introverts
at the very end of the day. So if you put our profile and then a podcast being podcast hosts, they don't relate at all. It's like, we're not big on social media. We were super shy with the camera.
Like for example, I'm someone, for some episode I've mentioned being a little bit shy about talking about certain topics just because of
you don't want to maybe be too personal.
Yeah, maybe being too personal, or maybe my level of knowledge, or maybe how other people might take the information that I'm giving out. So you might see a lot of confidence in us, which we need to have. But also behind it is still a lot of thoughts and worries and doubts sometimes. But mostly it's just sticking to our gut and sticking to wanting to bring something positive and special for people.
Yeah, and also like we didn't have any experience at all with any of the setup, and it's just setting your mind into something that you want to do and try to block the noise in the beginning, and then as you go you'll see that it becomes easier, and eventually if you really like it, you're not even gonna pay attention to what other people are saying or
exactly. And it's such a freeing process to do what you want.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you'll care a lot about what people have to say or the expectations. But over time, it, like you said, just gets so much easier, and it's so freeing because now I feel fearless.
No, yeah, totally. It's like, and once you break that barrier, it's like you feel free. You feel more empowered in a way too. That it's like, okay, I broke that barrier. I'm on the other side. You know, it's like you were behind the barrier and now you're on the other side, and you feel completely different. You don't pay attention to many other things besides what you want to get to.
So we empower you to follow your instincts. If you're feeling passionate about something, just go for it. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to learn a lot no matter what.
Yeah.
And you're going to struggle no matter what.
Yeah. And
nothing is perfect.
Yeah. And I feel if whatever you're trying doesn't work out, at least you learned something. You're going to learn something along the way. It could be like something as simple as setting a camera, but also something even bigger that you might need in the future. So you never know what things can go, or like where it can take you.
Something that I read, I think it was in Rich Dad Poor Dad, a book that many people read. Have you read it?
Yeah.
I think it was in that book where he says, the fear of losing can't be greater than the excitement of winning. And I feel that's been true for us. Yeah. We have not let the fear of this not working out even be a consideration in terms of the potential that it could have. Yeah. So you have to see the potential as your ultimate, goal and vision, and not be afraid to fail. Because if you let fear be more important than anything else, it's going to be very hindering, and it's going to be very hard for you to move forward.
Yeah, now that you say that, I don't think we ever saw this if it doesn't work out as a failure at all. It's just like, oh, we tried it. And
exactly.
Like, I think we see it in a positive way, that it's, oh, we tried it, whatever. And
exactly,
it worked out. It has worked out so far. So I think it's just like, we're more excited about it than anything else. Yes. So I think that's a great way to put it, to not let that be the reason that holds you back. Just be excited about it, and then it's going to be more freeing once
and in the beginning it's very uncomfortable.
It is.
Anything new is going to be uncomfortable.
Anything
like
new.
We might look very comfortable to you and now we are. Yeah. And even I feel in the first episode we were comfortable because we're together and we're doing this together. Yeah, but there's like a growth period that you have to go through that is uncomfortable. Like big picture, it's uncomfortable. Picture, so
anything new that you're trying, anything is going to be uncomfortable because your brain creates some sort of resistance to it. So just break that barrier, and it's gonna get more comfortable eventually.
So if you haven't watched our episode 10, was it 10 on visualization on vision boards? Yes. If you haven't watched episode 10 on vision boards, go check it out to make sure you're ready for 2025. Both of us have our vision boards that we're pretty excited about.
And we talked about them and our goals.
Yeah. So we encourage you to think about what you want for yourself. And maybe you're perfectly happy where you are. Yeah. And that's beautiful too. Yes. Thank you so much for being here. We love you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for every listening, every like, every comment. We appreciate them so much. I'm so grateful to have you here. See you next season.
Oh, that's the first time we're saying this.
Sounds so crazy though.
See you next season.
Season 2 of As You Are.
So for the last time in 2024,
love you. Bye.
Bye.